Hi everybody, I'm Chloe and this is my tank. We're in a little different setup today. I brought you guys over to my desk. Believe it or not, I have been making YouTube videos for 1 whole year now. And my tank has come such a long way. Honestly, I was pretty proud of how it was looking the first time I posted it on YouTube, so to see the progress it's made, I'm so happy, and it is much closer to that vision that I was talking about in my very first YouTube video. If you're an OG follower and you have been following this whole process, you know that I've always been talking about wanting this like super planted pink rose quartz like crystal jungle looking tank, and yeah, now I feel like we are just so much closer to that. Still working on getting the plants to grow in, but to commemorate how far we have come, I thought we would sit down and do a little story time about how and why I even started the tank in the first place. Before I start this story, this is your trigger warning. This does involve pet death, so if that's a sensitive subject for you, just be warned. Honestly, it's a very dramatic story and I thought it would make a good story time, so let's get into it. So, fun fact about me, I am actually originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I was born and raised there, and then I moved up north for college when I was 17, and I've been living up here ever since. Growing up, we always had a lot of pets in our homes. We always had dogs and cats, and at one point we did even have a little community fish tank. I want to say it was like 20 or 30 gallons. But I personally was always a cat person, so when I moved out on my own, the first thing that I was thinking about getting was not a fish tank. It was always a cat. Like, I cannot wait to get a cat. I cannot wait to get a cat. And before I was even officially living on my own, I actually adopted a cat. And I snuck her into my dorm room, and she lived in my closet for like 6 months. Her name was Dior. She was my precious, sweet baby angel. I love gray cats, and I got her from like a little baby kitten. And it was the first pet actually that I had fully by myself, that I was like fully taken care of by myself. But as you can imagine, we formed a very special attachment. She was my baby, and she came with me when I moved out of my college dorm room and into an apartment with roommates, and then she moved with me again when I moved away from that apartment with roommates into my very first solo apartment. And living on your own, I feel like for the first time for anybody, is a big adjustment, but especially as a woman, living by myself was like huge for me. And yeah, it was just me and my baby. So I'm sure you can kind of guess where the story is going, but so yeah, back in 2022, I want to say, I decided to take a road trip to go visit a friend of mine down in Arkansas, and I left my precious baby with some friends of mine to pet sit. While I was down in Arkansas, I got a call from them that there had been an accident. My friends had a balcony, and somehow she had gotten out while somebody was cleaning. And yeah, I won't go into all the details. Obviously, I don't love talking about it. But this was like the catalyst for literally everything. I was so like grief-stricken. I'm laughing about it now because yes, you know, it's just a cat, and I took it very, very hard. But like I said, it was my first pet. It was my first baby. The death of a pet is always very difficult. But because it was my very first one, I like called out of work. I was on the couch for a long time. And I did not want to get another cat. I was like, I cannot go through that like pain and heartache again. Also, I'm an earth sign, so the way that I get through anything is to focus on work and a project. So I decided to pick a fun project for myself. At this time, I was already super into houseplants. My house was a jungle, and I wanted a pet that I didn't think I would be like as emotionally attached to. Now looking back, that is so silly, because when my fish have died, I have also had a very hard time with that. It's never easy to lose a pet. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't get emotionally attached to what was in my tank. But yeah, back then, 2022 Chloe, she was looking for a project, something to work on, to put a lot of energy and focus into. And I decided that I was going to start a fish tank with my limited experience of having our family fish tank. Because I'm me and I love a challenge, I decided to start with one of the biggest sizes that you can possibly get, a 55-gallon, which honestly, now with my experience, I'm so happy I did that because I've started smaller tanks and they've actually been more difficult to keep up than this 55-gallon. So if you don't have a fish tank and you're thinking about starting one, you should definitely start big. This was my first one, and any tank is going to be trial and error, so might as well do the trial and error with a bigger tank so you have more options. That's how I look at it anyway. Okay, so boom. I decided I want a fish tank and I started doing the research and I saw how expensive they were. So I went to Facebook Marketplace and that's where I got this insane deal on this gorgeous stand and tank combo. I love the natural wood of it so much. The trellis above the Monsteras is something that I added myself. But yeah, the tank and the stand, I got both of them for, I want to say I negotiated down and I think I paid like $120 or $140. Tank stands alone go for hundreds of dollars, which is crazy to me, but I want to say that this was custom built by the person that I bought it from because the entire back has room and space for all the cords and the filters. Like I have a whole canister filter under there, and then also obviously the shelves, the bookshelves, which I think are a really lovely touch. I got super lucky with that find. Actually thinking about starting another tank, so I restarted the research process on Facebook Marketplace, and I've noticed that a lot of the tank stand combos I found are for bigger tanks. So yet another reason why you should start with a bigger tank. Even though losing my pet was obviously very difficult, it wasn't a super unexpected, I mean, any sort of pet loss is difficult, but yeah, that. Anyway, it has just fully reaffirmed my belief that everything truly happens for a reason, because once I started my fish tank and started sharing my journey online, it opened up so many opportunities for me to be creative and work on the projects that I want to work on and make a community. So yeah, all of that was back in 2022. I think I started making TikToks also in late 2022, and then around 2023 is when my TikToks got very popular. And my first YouTube video was March 18th, 2025. Honestly, I wish that I would have started sooner. But yeah, here we are. I'm going to keep making videos, and if you guys want another story time, before I started making videos here on YouTube, what got my TikTok going was actually a horrible snail infestation that went mega viral. So maybe you saw it on other platforms. If you want to know all the behind the scenes drama on that, we can talk about it on our next Tank Talk video. Until next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.